2, 1. Please make me your focal point. Good conversations. Really nice new definition. So we know that portraits have people in them. It could be a painting, a picture, a photograph, right, of one or many people. So we see some of the portraits don't just have one person, they have multiple, what we call sitters. Those are the people that are in the portrait. So I put this really good question up here. Where do we see portraits every day? I want you to think in your own mind first. Take 10 seconds, think in your own mind. Where do I see portraits every day? And look at some of the examples, right? Where do we see portraits every single day? Think outside of the box. Don't just think about the obvious ones. Put your hands down, think in your own mind. Where do you see them every day? We're gonna come up with a nice long list. By the time I count to 3, you will be turning and facing your partner again. 1, 2, 3. Where do you see them every day?
Also on coins. You always see coins. You always see portraits on coins because coins have like the coins have the president. Oh, and also books. Because books have like pictures on the in the book and on the book cover and in the cases. Yes, there's in books. Because books also have portraits. Yeah, also on the street. And there's also
10 seconds.
There's also some on the books. There's also some on books. There's a lot of toys. Yeah, toys.
5, 4, 3,
Shirts also have
1. Please make me your focal point. Some of you said shirts and clothing. So look at this list you came up with, not me, you came up with it. I was just listening really carefully. You said books, museums, toys. Think about toy boxes, right? Billboards, then you're driving down the street, posters. You said that you can see them on boxes. Look at that one right there. Is that a portrait?
Yes.
Coins and money. Movies, movie posters, movie theaters, magazines. You said you see them walking down the street. And you also sometimes see them on shirts, right? Or on shoes. So if you have Jordan, well, on your shirt there, is that a portrait?
Yeah. No.
What would make it a portrait if it had a...
If it had, like one of these.
If it had a... Help him out. If it had a
picture.
A person, right? That's that one thing we need. Is this a portrait?
Yes.
Yes. Is this a portrait?
Yes.
Yes. One of the places where we see lots of portraits are books, right?
Yes.
When you get to the age that you're at, you read a lot of chapter books, so you don't have as many portraits. But if you look through here, is this a portrait?
Yes.
That's people, right? What about this one? Is this a portrait?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see. What about this? Is this a portrait?
No.
Why not?
It's an animal. It has to be a person.
Animal. It has to be a person. Absolutely. So you see portraits in classrooms, in books. What about, do you ever take selfies on your phone?
Yes.
Is that a portrait? Absolutely, right? On your computer or on your phone. Very nice. So, since we see portraits every single day, we really ought to know what to look for, what to notice when we are observing portraits, right? We oughta, yes, we really ought. We should. That would be a better thing to say. Thank you for that. So we should know what to look for anytime we look at a portrait, okay? So I'm going to list some things that are really helpful when looking at portraits. The very first thing we're going to look at is the facial expression. So the facial expression, can everybody take their finger, put it right here on their forehead, draw a circle around your face and say facial expression.
Facial expression.
Facial expression, we're talking about what the person's face is saying to us. Can we describe her feeling? Yes, my friend. feeling sad. How do you know she's sad? What do you see that makes you say that? She's frowning. Any other observations? She's frowning, yeah. She has her lips down, right? You might even see a little tear forming in her eye, right? So that's the facial expression, really important to pay attention to. The next thing is the focal point. Focal point is where the sitter's eyes are looking. So where is this boy's focal point? He's looking at the book. Absolutely, that is his focal point. The gesture that we use for focal point is like this. We touch our eyes, we point straight out. We say focal point. So let's put the two together. Facial expression, focal point. Very good. The next one is gesture. Gesture. Gesture is what we do with our bodies, or what the sitter is doing with our bodies. My friends, sometimes I talk, you listen. Sometimes you talk and I listen, right? Right now, I'm asking you to listen. What is this man doing with his gesture? What is his gesture? Describe it to me in words first. He's going like that. It's hard to describe it without actually doing it. So let's stand up on our feet and copy this man's gesture. Go ahead, copy this man's gesture. And now tell me some of the things he's doing with his body. Describe the way you're holding your body. His arms are, yes, spread out. His fingers are spread out. His feet are spread out. What about his torso? His tummy is spread out, right? He's lifting his heart. Very nice. What about this gesture? Can we copy her gesture? Pay very close attention to which leg is lifted. Try not to use your voice. Try just to use your body to show me the gesture. Try to hold that balance. Hold your question. I'm happy to answer it in a moment. And finally, can we copy this gesture? Pay very close attention to which foot is crossed in front, right? His right foot is crossed in front of the left. Copy it as closely as you can. Let's see it, Jaden. Show me that you're strong enough to control your body. Right crossed in front of left. And then pay close attention to his hand. One hand is under the book. The other one is doing what? Turning the page. Turning the page. See if you can copy that gesture. Jaden, can you see it? See if you can copy the gesture. We don't need to make any sound. We're just copying the gesture with our bodies. There we go. Refining that gesture. Can you see it? Show me that you're strong enough. So my friends, gesture is what the sitter, or sitters, because sometimes we have more than one, are doing with their bodies. So let's take it from the top. We have facial expression, focal point, gesture. The next one is clothing. Clothing. Can you guys do that? Clothing. Clothing is what they are wearing, right? Who can help me describe the clothing of this lovely lady? Yes?
Kind of golden.
Golden. What else? I want to hear my friend right here. What's your name? Shiny. Oh, her. That's not your name. They're saying that she's wearing a shiny dress. How else can you describe her clothing? What is your name? John Carlo. How else can you describe this? How do you describe that thing around your neck?
It looked like she had like paper covered her neck.
It almost looks like puffy paper. What else, Jaden?
It looked like
Describe just her clothing.
it looked like her clothing.
Yeah.
Can I describe what's around her head?
Yeah, describe it.
It looked like a big caterpillar.
Looks like a big caterpillar almost. You want to describe her clothing?
And the thing around there looks like a thing that just.
A gesture would wear, a court gesture. Interesting. This little boy, if I was going to describe his clothing, I wouldn't just say he's wearing a t-shirt and jeans, right? That doesn't really tell me enough. I would want to say he has on white tennis shoes, blue jeans, and a short sleeve white, red, and blue shirt. That tells me something about him, right, and where he is. So my friends, the next thing is our clothing. Let's put all of those gestures together to help us remember what we look for when we view portraits. Are we ready? Hand up here. Facial expression, focal point, gesture, clothing. The very next thing we're going to look at is the
Skin.
Nope.
Setting.
Setting. The setting is where?
They live.
Well, wait.
People are.
It's where it takes place. It's where the people are at. So we go like this. We create a frame around the setting where it takes place, right? I really want Jaden to be part of the circle so we can move back even more so that he can really see all of the pictures. Excellent. Okay. So the setting, that's where it takes place. So can somebody describe the setting for me right here? Where is this lady?
Outside.
Outside, be even more specific. Where?
By a barn,
By a barn, outside.
By land.
Oh, that's an object. Sure. There's flowers in the background. What can you say about the sky?
It's blue. The sky is bluish and one cloud is under the orange.
She's even describing the cloud. So it's where the picture, the portrait is taken. What about the setting right here? Where is this setting?
Library.
How do you know? What do you see that makes you say that?
The books and the chairs.
The books and the chairs, the bookshelf. So he thinks it's in the library. Excellent. So we have this setting that we can describe. How are we doing?
Good.
Good. Now you're still trying to copy his gesture. The last thing we're going to go over today are the objects. The objects are the things. You were talking about the objects back when we were making a list of what portraits had. So the things. What are the objects we see in this?
I see a car. He's
Car.
holding a jug. I see
He's holding a big jug.
I see like a little barn back there. I see.
That would be some of the
I see
things.
some
What are
trees.
some of the things we see in this portrait?
Ooh, a flag.
Flags flat on your bottom, Jaden. You got it flat on your bottom. A bench.
A portrait.
Another portrait. A portrait within a portrait. Lots of different objects. We can get even more specific when we talk about objects, and we can say the quantity, how many, okay? So if I were talking about this portrait, the objects would be what?
The
kite. So how many? I think there's about 9 kites.
There's about-
We can also talk about the
There's 8 kites.
size. Can you do this with me? Size. How big or how small are the objects? And then we do color. Like we have 2 paintbrushes. Color. Do you think we can do all of these together, all of our gestures for this? Let's see. I'm going to add quantity, that's how many, size, and color as well. And I'll teach you the gestures for that. So for setting, we do this. For objects, we have one hand open, one hand in a fist. We put the fist in the hand, like a ball in a glove.